Greetings guys, hey, thanks for joining me. Librans, this is your reading for January 2020. I can hardly believe I'm saying that. So happy new year to you guys. What did you do for New Year's Eve? Hope you had a great time and spent some time in contemplation about where the new year is taking you, but further than that, where this new decade is taking you. I am uploading this in December, so some of you may well be listening before the new year, which still gives you that opportunity to connect with yourselves and make some plans about this journey into the new decade. I seem to be harping on about it, but there is a good reason for it. And as the decade unfolds or unravels, you will understand what I'm talking about and why it's such a profound decade. Now, as we move into January, the astrology is also profound. A lot of astrologers are calling it like it's a very rare event. It's only happened twice in the last 2,000 years. It's the conjunction of Pluto, Jupiter and Saturn. And some people are calling it like a mind-blowing sound of change that is echoing into our lives right now. And it's massive. We can't overestimate it, quite literally. So it is a really good time to be prudent about what you are seeking, how you are acting, what your connection to your higher self is, your soul journey, and your desires and dreams and manifestations around that aspect of life. Now, before I start for you, I did some intuitive work, and you guys got this mantra that came up. So it is as follows: I bless my current job or situation with love and know that it is only a stepping stone on my pathway. You got the number 66, which breaks down to 12, which breaks down to 3, which is the triad or the triangular shape. So 3 may be relevant. There could be 3 people involved in something, and there may be the magical, energetic, vibrational of the 3, like the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost, the Trinity. So there may be something coming in there that either awakens you or enlightens you or supports you or pushes you forward with this kind of like higher knowledge or attainment or energy that comes through. So with that in mind, let's have a look and see what's coming for you guys through the cards and what the cosmos or the celestial would like you to focus on for January for 2020. So there's one card that came out over here. 6 of Pentacles, material and spiritual prosperity. So this is a great way to start the new year. It's a great card to have the 6 of Pentacles. You know, it's because it's a minor arcana, you might sort of think it doesn't hold that much weight, but in fact it's a very powerful card. And we had the 66 come out for you at the beginning, and we've got the first card out as a 6. And in the background of this card, this is the John Holland Psychic Tarot, he's got this powerful sun that this man is sitting here, or person, may not be a man, but this person is sitting here empowering themselves through the gates or the portals of this water, which is our emotions and our mind, into the energy of the all-knowing sun. So there's something very deep in this card about a higher connection, which is what we've just been talking about. Now this card is also the cycle of give and take in life, and when we are in the correct cycle of give and take, then our life ebbs and flows with positive manifestation, and it is easier for things to come and go in both positive and negative perspectives, if you like. Now you may be on the receiving end of someone giving you something, or receiving something coming into you, into your life, or you may be the person giving out to others who are in need. So whichever perspective or dynamic of the cycle that you're currently in, it pays huge dividends and it reaps the movement of the cyclical nature of life and takes you forward into the next stage. So we are either always in a giving or a receptive state, and both are as important and as powerful as the other. So great card to start off with, and a great strong message. Some people have difficulty in receiving, and they find it difficult. So if this is a situation or a case for you, and you have trouble receiving, whether it be money or emotional support or intellectual support or knowledge or information or health, even good health coming in, you know, if we have trouble receiving, then on the other hand, the same as I've just said, you will actually have trouble giving. And when you can't give or you can't receive, then we're blocked. And then the flow of life ceases to exist. And then you stagnate. You stagnate at all levels. So this card is powerful in many different ways. And I think it's a very good one to focus on. Yeah, great card to get for the first one out. Wow. And then we have this accelerated motion, which is the Eight of Wands. This is also about manifestation, positivity, movement, events, situations occurring. Now this card traditionally in some of the other decks can represent moving, can also represent travel, flying in particular, as depicted in this card, something coming through space. In this case it's like a wishing star or a meteorite. You can actually wish upon a star literally when this energy comes out. So for some of you there might be the opportunity to make a wish and have something eventuate from that if you put your heart and soul into it. The other thing is it talks about traversing the skies. So sometimes this is in a plane, so some of you may be flying or doing something or going somewhere. Sometimes it's for a job, because this is the Wands card, which is about our creative sources in life and is often associated with our careers. It can also represent obviously accelerated motion in and around a creative project that you are interacting with or that you are liaising through. For some people who are looking for new jobs, this can be a good indicator of a possible attending an interview and having success with it as well. It can also represent new people coming into your life, and sometimes it can represent romantic liaisons. So there's a lot of information or action going on with these two cards. Yeah, some of you will be receiving. I get the feeling there's definitely receiving going on for some of you, and it could even be receiving a job offer, receiving a pay rise, receiving an increment, receiving more people into your life. Yeah, so it's nice, Libra. It's very nice. What else would you like them to focus on for this 2020 January? Don't forget too that as we go through December, on the 26th, there is the final eclipse for the year for 2019. And that will have some mighty powerful energies coming through it. Number 3 is definitely people around you, which we're sort of feeling possibly with this card up here. This is the Sisterhood of Life card. It often does represent females, and it often represents partying or gathering together and rejoicing and celebration. So sometimes an event like a wedding, an engagement, a 21st, a graduation, the birth of a baby, getting together for a small holiday, visiting friends that you haven't seen in a while, having a very special knowledge or understanding that there are people around you who you can call on for support, and quite often female people. Also friends that you may not have seen for a long time, so reconnecting with them through school reunions or something along those lines as well. It usually does indicate quite a social time and, you know, quite a feeling of prosperity and happiness in the air. That is definitely a celebration. Some of you may be celebrating something, you know, like, yay, cheers, here's to this, it's really good news. So there could be some good news coming your way, and both of these cards up here indicate good news. Now we've got 2 3s here again, which is what we talked about before with the 3s and the 6s, and you've got a lot of that energy coming in. This 3 here is the heartache and loss, and it does often portend to a little bit of sadness. It can be 3 people involved. We talked about that before, the triad or the trinity. It can be a sort of breaking up of a relationship, sometimes an intimate relationship, but it can be family members or just friends as well. There may be a sadness involved in the group of friends here. There might be something wrong with one of them, or you might have had a falling out with some friends and you're wishing to have that reconnected again. If that's the case, it can be done quite often when this card appears through way of communication, because this is the card of swords, which is communication. So there is a possibility that a relationship can be brought back together, and it sometimes does need counselors or a mediator or something along those lines. It does take effort and it can take time, but it can be worked through. So for some of you, this might be one of the scenarios that is going on, that there is a falling out of a relationship that you have had, that you would like it to be reinstigated or rehealed. So get onto the communication regards that and see if it can be restructured through the cautionary advice of listening in particular, and being able to mediate between the people concerned. For others of you, it is time to let go of this relationship that has not been serving you and has been causing pain. This is very transitory, this loss, although it can be quite painful and feel very intense at the time. It generally moves on quite quickly. Now, oftentimes the reason why something moves on is because there's something else that is going to replace it. So something better, if you like, that is coming. What we have to do is to be able to see this feeling of pain, loss and heartache from a different perspective. So you have to look at it from a learning perspective, which can be quite difficult when you're stuck in this position. Now, the other thing that this card can represent is heart pain, physical heart pain. So some of you may need a checkup. There may be someone around you in this group of friends or people you know or family members who has a bit of a heart problem. So that might pop up for some of you as well. Deception and envy. He is the Seven of Swords, and I don't like him when he comes out. He is a warning card to make sure that you are careful who you interact with, what information you give out in particular. Be careful of things like your wallet, your passport, your bank account numbers at this time. Now, when he turns up and you're the first reading that he has turned up for, sometimes globally there can be major hacks, and things like banks or things like Facebook or where we have our public information accessible, they can be hacked. So just keep an eye out in case something like that is going on. It might pay to change passwords and things along those lines as well when this person turns up. The deception and envy card. In fact, if it's not so much about that, it could be more about the fact that there could be someone around you that you do have to watch. So if you are meeting a lot of new people up through here, and some of them could be potential romantic partners, just be careful that you are not being mistreated, or that there's someone around that is creating deception and envy. Especially if you are meeting people online, you have to get, don't give out too much information. Just be very careful. That's all. Cautionary card. Double check everything. Do your due diligence. Do your homework. Another 6 for you. So we really have gone the 6, 6 and the 3, 3, 3 and the Trinity. So this is more victory and success, and we've seen a lot of that coming through the cards. So there's great success here for you guys as you move into 2020, and I think it's about really anchoring that energy and feeling into where the success is for you. For some of you, it can be in the career sector. It could be the offer of a new job coming. It could be the finalizing of exams, or getting a degree that has come through, or understanding a certain dynamic in your life, like a new direction you are going in, and you feel that the success is coming. So sometimes it's about changing direction, or taking this new aspiration, or understanding the messages that are coming in through things like this, and then realizing that there is victory and success around. So, you've got some really brilliant cards that have come through for you guys. You have got a few swords that have turned up. And I always think of the swords as being, they are the air sign energy, which is your energy too, Libra. But they do require a little bit more thinking, I guess is a logical word to say, because they're about the mind, they're about communication, they're about intellect. So the rest and rejuvenate is the Four of Swords. This is also can mean a small physical operation, which when I said back here, could have something to do with the heart. This could have something to do with any of this area in the body through here, chest, shoulders, arms, heart area. And some of you may be going for planned surgery, which has already been scheduled. Others of you might actually find you have a small surgical event take place, like a minor thing. The rest and rejuvenate is the important part of those cards to listen to. It's about slowing down. It's about pacing yourself, especially at this busy time of year. Especially if you have had some celebrations and partying and you've been gadding about, with this accelerated motion, and there's lots of people coming and going, lots of stuff going on, and the cycles of giving and taking, boom, all this stuff happening. You do often need to rest it out and just take the time out and breathe it through and do some meditation and feel into what your mind is telling you and what your not psychic abilities, but what your higher self or your intuitive self is telling you. So if there's anything that you are not feeling into, if you're not finding the answers for, if you are feeling lost about, or you don't know which direction to take, get into some of this rest and rejuvenation and spend some time contemplating. It's a very, very good time to do it right at the beginning of this new year, at this new decade, believe me. The other thing this card can represent is going away with someone for a retreat, on a retreat weekend, and actually it's a romantic weekend, and it can be a very close time for a special connection, a bond, a chemistry. It can also be a time of fertility for some people and conception of a pregnancy. So I think we have done enough of the John Holland cards. We'll leave them there, and we will have a look at these ones for you. These are Doreen Virtue Daily Guidance cards. They are rather nice. They've always been quite nice cards. Opportunity to forgive and focus on service. Yeah, I guess there has been an opportunity to forgive, maybe especially with this heartache and loss. Sometimes when we feel as though we are losing a relationship or something that we have invested time and energy and positivity into, and if it moves away unexpectedly, we can be angry about it, or we can be annoyed that the other person hasn't seen our goodness or our effort, or has misjudged us or mistreated us, which is also this guy down here, the deception and envy. But in the end, allowing it to just move away when it doesn't suit us, or when they're not the right energies for us, or when they've created a darkness or a shadow energy, then it's the time to forgive. And this is part of the cycle of giving and receiving. Forgiveness is also part of that cycle. So there's quite a few cards in here that tie into letting things go and allowing them to be passed on, and knowing that when you do that, you receive something new. You receive this new invitation to experience another dynamic of your life, another avenue of your life. Sometimes this card can be ourselves, meaning that we're not being true to ourselves and that we need to face up to something and perhaps let it go. This card can actually mean that you are letting something go or letting a person go. It's not always the other person choosing to leave either. So I think you have some choices coming to you in this early part of the year, and it could involve relationships. It could also involve career opportunities, or decisions that are broader or more far-reaching. This card is a little bit of an enigma because it talks more about an emotional feeling than a circumstance. So if I read it to you, it says, your soul desires only to joyfully serve and to swim in a constant stream of bliss. This stream continuously feeds you everything you need. Put your entire focus upon staying in the stream of giving and receiving in every situation and in all that you do. Boom. It took me a minute to get to the answer. And it's the end, but when it says giving and receiving, and that's what the very first card was all about. So there's really powerful messages for you guys in here about giving and receiving. And I think some of it is about the opportunity to forgive certain things. And so it could be forgiving emotional trauma, it could be forgiving people's behaviour, it could be forgiving a situation you have ended up in, it could be forgiving a career or a work situation or a health situation. So you'll have to think quite deeply into that and see where the thought process is going to take you. And of course, I think if you do some of this, rest and rejuvenate over this period of time, you might really find this answer within your own mind and soul. I think we will move to the very last card that I've been doing for everyone, and these are quite intense, deep and powerful, and I will be reading from the book the message that comes for whichever card arrives. And it may take you some time to feel into the true depth of the meaning of this card, but it is really well worth connecting with it. So, you know, you don't have to do it straight away. This card could take you a lot further than just January. It's almost like a decade message, if you like. So this is for Libra for this January reading. What is it that they can learn, and what would you like them to focus on? There's been more than one come out, and I'm inclined to only pick the one. So what we'll do is just shuffle them, and because we had the third number when we broke down your number to 3, we will take the third card. Okay, so 1, 2, it's this one. Goddess Persephone and Ruby, the inner queen. So I have a ruby here, which I will get out and place at the top of the card, and I will then read to you. This number is 50. Goddess Persephone and Ruby, the inner queen. We bring you the empowerment of the inner queen. The inner queen exercises authority through divine feminine wisdom. Her empowerment is active within men and women that consciously seek to honour feeling, instinct and intuition, and choose to live their lives according to a moral code of compassion. When the inner queen stirs within, judgment is replaced with empathy for your own suffering and that of others. You can understand that human beings who cannot resolve their suffering will unconsciously act out their pain in the world. They are unconsciously expressing their inner story with their outer actions, the story of their inner pain. The healing power of the inner queen brings inner pain to a consciousness where it can finally be released and the soul freed. This can happen because of her compassion. She does not approach life with a fearful or judging nature, so she can move freely through all realms, witness great pain and darkness, and remain centered in her heart, shining a gentle light of intention for the liberation from suffering for all beings. She reminds us of our innate divine dignity and the healing power of our compassion. The oracle of the inner queen comes to you as a reminder that your compassion for yourself and for others is your source of power. It gives you the ability to be moved by another's plight without taking on their suffering as your own, which would drain you and prevent you from being able to hold the gentle light of awareness for the person who needs it to heal. Her presence empowers you to care for the world without becoming distraught and fatigued. Compassion leaves you energized and motivated to work towards your sacred purpose in life of caring for the world in your own unique and creative way. Your compassion for the world will affirm your dignity and empower you to stay true to your own reality whilst respecting the experiences of others. If you have been judging yourself or another, then it is likely you have become enmeshed in their pain, tired and perhaps even angry or afraid. If you are feeling used, abused, exploited, or taken advantage of in any way, then the inner queen rises up to remind you that you are royal. You are guided to seek out your inner divine dignity, summon your compassion for yourself and all others involved in the relevant situation, and give yourself permission to disengage from the drama, to step back and take care of your own needs first. Then you can respond, rather than react, to what is happening within you and around you. The inner queen within will help you gather your energy back to your heart center, so you can shine your compassion as you acknowledge that everyone is doing their best, and everyone has the divine right and power to choose how they respond to the mysteries of life. The inner queen also brings you guidance to honour what you need to do with your life. You are a sovereign being, and honouring your spiritual truth is how you act as the guardian of your soul. In choosing that which honours you as you are, rather than trying to force yourself to be something or someone you are not naturally meant to be, you will gain so much energy. Life becomes easier and the universe can support you. As you honour yourself in this way, you honour the divine, for it is the divine that lives in you, as you, and created you to be as you are for your sacred purpose. The inner queen is a priestess, a bridge or channel between the worlds. She brings messages from worlds beyond the earthly realm. If you have been wanting a message from one who has passed, consider this oracle a message that it has been given. Love is the answer to your question. This oracle supports you in particular if you are wanting to do work on spirit release, helping people honour death rather than fear it, to cross over with consciousness and dignity. And also if you wish to work with the divine feminine through dance, art or music. It also confirms that if you are interested in shamanic or any kind of transformational healing, if you wish to do any work that involves relaying messages between the worlds, such as channeling, trance mediumship or automatic writing, then you are encouraged to pursue your studies in those areas, as it will tap into a natural talent that you have and develop it further in service to love. If you wish to work with the forces of the natural world, with family dynamics or male-female relationship dynamics, with young women healing from trauma and abuse, with those trapped in darkness in any way, then you are encouraged to pursue that work. This oracle confirms that your interest in these areas is an indication that you can express your compassion effectively through such methods. Finally, if you have been in a time of darkness, craving light and life, the oracle affirms it is coming to an end and that you shall ascend with dignity and with wisdom, proud of all you have learned and the growth you have undertaken. That is a very, very powerful message from the inner queen and the essence of Ruby and the goddess Persephone. So yes, Libra, it's a stern message to finish off with, but there's a lot of room in there for so many of you to uplift different directions within that message. Some of you for physical advancement in the capacity of helping others who have been trapped in abuse and fear, as maybe becoming healers or counsellors or workers with people who need it, as well as releasing trauma from your own life, as well as engaging in creativity and accessing the higher goddess energy for empowering yourself to be energized and activated to participate and allow this energy to flow through you. Wow, that's powerful. Thank you guys for joining, subbing, liking. I love it when you leave your comments. I wish you all the very, very best for this new year as it soars into reality and into this timeline. Take care, everyone. Much love. Namaste.